Chef Buck here, and today we're going to bake up the healthiest apple crisp recipe that I can live with. Now this is still going to be dessert, because I want dessert, but it's going to be dessert that's good for you? Well, of course it's good for you because we got apples. And these are small apples. They're about the size of a pool ball, and these are sweet apples. These are Gala apples, and these were buy one, get one free. So I've been doing a lot of apple-y stuff. Like a lot of times when we make an apple crisp, apple cobbler type thing, we'll use like Granny Smith apples. But then we'll just throw in too much butter, too much sugar, and all that stuff. But we're not going to use very much sugar in this recipe, but we are using sweet apples. So the first thing I'm going to do is core these, but I'm not going to peel them. I bought them with the peel. They got the peel on them and it adds nice texture. I paid for it. I know they're one of the dirty dozen. You know, there's apples, there's strawberries, Charles Bronson, Lee Marvin. I mean, there's a number of bad apples out there. So we just want to get rid of the core. And you can do that however you want to do that. I just do this kind of Houdini move, which Houdini would be very embarrassed about.
The knife blade is going toward your fingers.
Keeps you on your toes. But however you want to core your apple, that's your business.
This is a dangerous way. Want me to show you how to do it?
You don't tell another man how to saddle his horse. And then I just cut them into little slicey slices, like this here, about that size. But I'm going to cook them up in a pan a little bit. I'm going to soften them a wee little bit before they go in the oven. And I'm going to bake this up in an 8x8 dish. This is a good healthy size. If I use between 6 and 8 apples of this size, it's good. I've done it with 6 apples and it just seems like it could be a little bit more. I've done it with 8 apples and it seems like that's a little too much. So 7 is, what do you call it?
The number of completion.
The number of completion.
I don't know.
7 is supposed to be a lucky number, so we're going with 7 this time. But there is no wrong number, as long as they all fit in the dish. I mean, they're apples, How can you go wrong? I'm going to go ahead and cook these up. So let me get my pot going over here. So I'm going to put my pan on medium-high heat, and I'm just putting a doodad of oil in here, not a lot. I mean, apple crisp and apple cobbler are so delicious when you use butter. But we're just going to use oil. All right, so I get my apples started. Boom, boom, boom. We'll get these started while I slice up the rest of them. We should all endeavor to eat more apples. They say an apple a day keeps medical bankruptcy away. We'll see how that works out for us. So I'll go ahead and stir these around and give these a few minutes head start before I add any other ingredients in here. And while my apples are softening up a little bit, let me go ahead and get my topping together. Come on over here, camera girl. Let's see if we can do this lickety split. Look at all these healthy oats. Boom, we're going to augment our bad flour with some flaxseed, some ground flaxseed. I read on the internet that this is supposed to be very good for you. What is flaxseed? Seriously, what is flaxseed? The bad flour. I got a little bit of brown sugar.
Brown sugar.
Some walnuts, but you could use walnuts or pecans. And then I got a little bit of cardamom and cinnamon. Let's go ahead and stir these dry ingredients together. Just a hint of salt. Now I'm going to throw in some oil. This is some safflower oil. Use canola oil, use safflower oil, use sunflower oil. Those are kind of nice, neutral, semi-healthy oils. And we want to just get our topping nice and damp. And it's not overly wet. It's not wet at all. It's just lightly dampened, as if your topping had gone for a leisurely stroll in a nice spring shower. Ah, so refreshing. All right, let me give my apples a stir. And I'm not trying to get them soggy. I'm just softening them up a wee little bit. I just want to give them a little bit of a head start, before they hit the oven. I don't want my crisp to come out, and be crunchy and too aggressive. I want it to have a nice texture, but I want it to be a friendly crisp. Friendly. So we're getting a little color in there, and I'm going to throw ginger. It's a lot of ginger. I highly recommend a lot of ginger. It's keeping with our healthy theme, and it's a great flavor. Got some lemon juice, that's healthy. That's a great flavor. And since I used fresh lemon juice, I'm going to use some lemon zest. Don't want to waste that zest. Throw me some cinnamon in there. We added cinnamon to the topping, but this is a little bit more cinnamon that we're going to kind of cook into the apples a little bit. Then a little bit of cornstarch. And this is going to help our apples to thicken up a little bit while they're in the oven. And it's bubbling and cooking away. It'll give it a little bit of creaminess. And I went ahead and turned my stove off, so we're no longer cooking everything. And I'm going to throw in some sugar. Now, you know, we could live without this sugar. But, like I said, I still wanted this to be a dessert. And I put the sugar in here last, so it isn't overly liquidy when I put it in my dish. Lightly oil up my little baking dish. And I'll spoon my apple mixture in here. And I want to get every dribble drop of goodness out of here. And we'll just spread the mixture out evenly. And now I'm going to take my topping and spread that over the top. And I'm not going to pack it down on here. I'm just going to lightly spread it around. Just cover it up all the way to the edges. And feel free to use your hands, because that's what they're for. Now look how oaty and healthy that looks. Alright, this piece is sticking up a little too high, so this piece goes in my mouth. Uh-oh, it's the oven calling. So my oven is preheated at 350 degrees. We're going to slide this in here. That's going to take a while. I'm going to let it bake for almost an hour. Beep, 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 beep. Haven't had it going for quite an hour. You hear it bubbling away? You know, see it's starting to bubble up through the top. You know, you got kind of sugar cooking down there. That's what you're looking for. You're not going to really be able to look at the top and see a significant difference because it was kind of dark and brown when we put it in there. Throw some ice cream on there, some whipped cream, any kind of topping you like, but it's delicious just like this. Although we didn't go crazy with the butter and the sugar, it's still going to be semi-decadent. Well, we'll let it cool down and become less molten and lethal, and then we'll dig into it a little later and give it a taste test. Well, Camera Girl's having hers this morning with a little bit of yogurt on the top, and that's all there is left. Pretty sad. It's the next day, but it goes pretty fast. And juicy apples under there, and a nice topping. Is it healthy enough for breakfast? Feels like it to me. Some nice apples, some nice crunchies. Good way to start the day. Maybe I could just use brown sugar and eliminate the white sugar altogether. I've stuck with this recipe here for several turns now, but maybe it'll get healthier. But this is definitely a pretty healthy version for me, and super duper delicioso. So go ahead and give this apple crisp a try. It's the healthiest one I can make so far. Anything to add, Camera Girl?
No, sir.
That's right, I like the sir part. If you want to print this recipe, go over to myfoodchannel.com. You can print all our recipes over there. Thanks for watching, subscribing, and we'll see you next weekend. Bye-bye.